She broke up with you. You want to text her. You want answers. You want her back. But everything you feel like doing right now will push her further away. So stop, because in this video, I'll show you 5 simple ways to handle a breakup like a king. Breakups hurt, but most men don't lose the woman because of the breakup. They lose her because of what they do after it. They beg, they chase, they lose control, and that destroys any respect left. So today, you're going to learn how to handle this the right way. Before we start, the Stoic Tribe team is currently working on the Stoic Relationship Blueprint for Men course that's coming very soon. This will give you total control over your mindset, your relationships, and your standards by breaking everything down step by step so you can apply it permanently and never fall back into old patterns. If you're ready to become disciplined, respected, and untouchable in every area of your life, comment the blueprint right now. Number 1, accept the breakup. She broke up with you, and the hardest truth you face right now is that no amount of talking, explaining, or holding on will change her decision in this moment. And that is exactly where your power begins, because most people stay stuck arguing with reality while their life slips through their hands, replaying every conversation, every mistake, every what if, as if thinking harder will reverse time. But it never does. And deep down you already know that because you've tried to make sense of her behavior, you've tried to understand how she can go from warm to distant, from present to gone. And the truth you resist is the truth that sets you free. She chooses to leave. She chooses distance. She chooses silence. And that choice tells you everything you need to know, not about your worth, but about her level of investment. And once you accept that fully without bargaining with it, without softening it, without telling yourself comforting lies, you stop bleeding energy into something that is already decided. And instead, you reclaim control over the only thing that has ever been yours, your actions, your direction, your standards, because acceptance is not weakness. It is discipline. It is clarity. It is the ability to stand still in discomfort without running back to what disrespects you. And right now you are being tested in a way that most fail. You are being tested on whether you can face reality without collapsing, whether you can hold your ground without chasing validation, whether you can walk away even when every part of you wants to stay. And this is where most lose themselves, because they confuse attachment with purpose. They confuse her presence with meaning. They build their identity around her attention. And when that attention disappears, they don't just lose her, they lose themselves. But you don't have to be that person. You can decide right now that her decision does not define your path, that her absence is not the end of your value, that her silence is not a command for you to break your composure. And when you accept the breakup fully, you stop negotiating with someone who already made up her mind, and you start investing in a life that actually moves forward, because the reality is simple and uncomfortable. If she wanted to stay, she would. If she respected you at the level you thought she did, she wouldn't leave so easily, and pretending otherwise only delays your growth. So you accept it without excuses, without chasing closure, without needing her to explain herself in a way that comforts you. Because closure is not something she gives you, it is something you decide for yourself. And once you make that decision, you stop asking why and you start asking what now. And that question changes everything, because it shifts your focus from her behavior to your direction, from her choices to your standards, from her leaving to your next move. And this is where you separate yourself from the majority, because while others stay stuck in emotional loops, you move forward with intention. You carry yourself with control. You choose silence over reaction, discipline over impulse, growth over attachment. And in doing so, you turn a situation that could have broken you into the exact moment that builds you into someone stronger, sharper, and no longer dependent on anyone's presence to stand firm in your own life. And that is the level where everything starts to change. And it is exactly why the Stoic Relationship Blueprint ebook for men exists, filled with timeless principles that reshape how you think, act, and carry yourself, so you stop losing control in moments like this and start moving with clarity and strength immediately. It is now available in audiobook format, so you can absorb this life-changing knowledge while walking, training, or clearing your mind, turning your lowest moments into your greatest turning points without wasting a second. This is not temporary advice you forget. This is yours permanently, always accessible whenever you need guidance. A foundation you return to again and again, and you will find it linked in the comments waiting for you to take that step. Number 2, stop contact. This is where you either take your power back or lose it completely, because the moment she walks away, your instincts push you to reach out, to send that message, to ask that question, to try one more time, as if persistence will suddenly create desire, but it never works that way. And deep down you already see the pattern. Every time you text her first after she pulls away, you lower your position. Every time you check in, you show her that your attention is still available on demand. Every time you try to keep the connection alive, you are the only one carrying it. And that imbalance is exactly why she left in the first place. Because when a woman sees that she does not have to earn your attention, she stops respecting it. And when she stops respecting it, she stops valuing you. So continuing contact is not love. It is self-sabotage disguised as hope. And you know this because you can sense how she responds. Shorter replies, delayed energy, no real effort. Just enough to keep you around, but never enough to build anything real. And yet you stay engaged, you stay available, you stay within reach. And that is the problem, because as long as you are easy to access, she has no reason to come toward you. She has no reason to question her decision. She has no reason to invest. And this is why cutting contact is not a tactic. It is a necessity. It is you stepping out of a dynamic that drains you and choosing not to participate in behavior that lowers your value. Because every time you resist the urge to message her, you strengthen your discipline. Every time you choose silence over impulse, you build control. Every time you sit with the discomfort instead of escaping it through communication, you develop a level of mental strength that most people never reach. And this is what separates those who stay stuck from those who transform. Because she is not thinking about you the way you are thinking about her. She is not sitting there hoping you message. She is not waiting for your explanation. She is living her life, doing what she wants, talking to who she wants. And that truth stings because it exposes how much energy you have been giving to someone who is not giving it back. So instead of denying it, you use it. You let that realization push you into action, not toward her, but away from her, away from the need to constantly check your phone, away from the habit of waiting for a reply, away from the mindset that your day depends on whether she responds or not, because that is not control. That is dependency, and dependency is exactly what keeps you in a weak position. So you remove yourself completely, no messages, no reactions, no subtle attempts to stay on her radar. You disappear from her access, and in doing so you force a shift, not just in her perspective, but in your own. Because now your attention returns to you. Now your time is no longer spent analyzing her behavior. Now your focus is no longer tied to her responses. And that space you create is where growth begins, because you finally have room to think clearly, to act intentionally, to rebuild your standards without interference. And here is the part most people do not want to accept. She may not come back, and you must be completely fine with that, because if your silence is only a strategy to get her back, then you are still controlled by the outcome. You are still tied to her decision. You are still operating from a place of need. But when you truly cut contact without expectation, you free yourself from that cycle. You stop waiting, you stop hoping, you stop chasing, and you start building something that does not depend on her presence. And that is where your real power comes from, because whether she returns or not becomes irrelevant. Your life is moving forward regardless. Your standards are rising regardless. Your mindset is strengthening regardless. And when you reach that point, you are no longer the same person she walked away from. You are no longer available in the same way. You are no longer someone who can be easily accessed and easily dismissed. You become someone who values his time, protects his attention, and refuses to give energy to situations that do not give it back. And that shift changes everything, because people, especially women, recognize when access is no longer guaranteed. They recognize when the dynamic has changed. They recognize when the person they once had control over is no longer responding the same way, and whether she comes back or not is no longer the focus. The focus is that you are no longer playing a losing game. You are no longer reacting to her actions. You are no longer giving away your power through constant contact. You are in control. And that control is built through discipline, through restraint, through the ability to sit in silence without breaking. And once you master that, not just in this situation, but in every area of your life, you become someone who cannot be easily shaken, someone who does not chase attention, someone who does not beg for connection, someone who chooses where his energy goes and where it does not. And that level of control is what sets you apart. That is what builds respect. And that is what ultimately transforms your life in ways that go far beyond this one situation. Number 3, control your emotions. Everything inside you is screaming to react, to send that message, to say something that pulls her back, to release the pressure building in your chest. And that is exactly why this moment defines who you become. Because most people do not lose control in big moments. They lose it in quiet ones like this, where no one is watching, where it is just you, your thoughts, and the urge to act. And if you cannot control yourself here, then you will never control anything outside of you, because she is not the source of your instability. She is exposing it. She is revealing how quickly your state changes based on her presence, how easily your mood is affected by her silence, how dependent you have become on her attention. And that is the uncomfortable truth you are now forced to face. Not to break you, but to give you a choice. You either stay in this pattern where your emotions dictate your actions, or you rise above it and take full ownership of your internal state. Because right now, your mind is running scenarios, imagining outcomes, replaying conversations, searching for answers that will never come in a way that satisfies you. And the more you engage with those thoughts, the deeper you go into a cycle that keeps you stuck. So instead of feeding them, you observe them. You notice the urge to react without acting on it. You notice the tension without trying to escape it. You sit with it. You let it exist without letting it control your behavior. And this is where real strength is built, not in pretending nothing affects you, but in refusing to let what affects you dictate your decisions. Because she expects you to break. She expects emotional reactions. She expects messages driven by impulse. She expects you to show that she still has influence over your state. And every time you give in to that, you confirm her expectations. You show her that your composure is conditional, that your stability depends on her. And once that is clear, she loses respect because she sees that your emotions are not grounded, they are reactive, and people do not respect what they can easily control. So instead, you become steady, you become measured, you become someone who does not swing between highs and lows based on someone else's actions. And that does not mean you suppress everything. It means you channel it. You take that energy and direct it into something that builds you instead of something that weakens you. Because emotional control is not about becoming cold. It is about becoming disciplined. It is about choosing when and how you express yourself rather than being driven by impulse. And you start applying this in real time. When the urge to text comes, you pause. When the thought to check her profile appears, you redirect. When your mind tries to pull you back into old patterns, you interrupt it. And each time you do that, you strengthen a part of yourself that most never develop, the part that acts with intention instead of reaction, and over time this compounds. Your baseline changes, your tolerance for discomfort increases, your ability to remain composed under pressure improves, and suddenly situations that used to shake you no longer have the same effect, because you are no longer giving them that power. And here is where it gets real. She may test you again, she may reach out, she may try to trigger a response, and if your emotions are still in control, you will fall right back into the same cycle. But if you have done the work internally, you respond differently, not from excitement, not from desperation, but from a place of clarity and self-respect. You take your time, you stay grounded, you do not rush to engage, and that alone changes the entire dynamic. Because now she is interacting with someone who is not easily influenced, someone who is not reacting impulsively, someone who has control over himself. And that is rare. That is what stands out, not loud words or dramatic actions, but quiet discipline, consistent composure, the ability to remain centered when everything inside you is trying to pull you off course. And this extends far beyond this situation, because once you master control over your emotions, you carry that into every area of your life. Your decisions become sharper, your relationships become healthier, your focus becomes stronger, and you stop being someone who is pushed around by circumstances and start becoming someone who moves with intention regardless of what is happening around him. And that is the level where everything shifts, because you are no longer reacting to life. You are directing it. You are no longer controlled by external triggers. You are anchored in your own discipline, and that is what makes you different. That is what builds respect. And that is what allows you to move forward without being pulled back by the same patterns that keep others stuck. Number 4, focus on yourself. Everything in your life is now pointing in one direction, and most people completely waste it because instead of using this moment to build, they sit still, they scroll, they replay memories, they stay stuck in a loop that produces nothing. And that is exactly why they remain the same person months later, still thinking about her, still talking about her, still tied to a situation that already ended, while she moves forward without hesitation, doing what she wants, talking to who she wants, not looking back the way you are. And that truth should hit you hard because it exposes the gap between where you are and where you should be. And this is where you make a decision that changes everything. You either continue centering your life around someone who chose to leave, or you shift that focus back onto yourself and start building a version of you that does not need anyone to validate his existence. Because right now you have time, you have energy, you have attention, and those are the most valuable resources you possess. Yet most people waste them chasing someone who already walked away, instead of investing them into something that actually improves their position. And that is where you separate yourself, because focusing on yourself is not a cliché. It is a direct response to the situation you are in. It is you taking all the energy that was going toward her and redirecting it into your growth, into your discipline, into your purpose, and doing that consistently without needing motivation, without waiting for the perfect moment, without making excuses, because discipline is built through action, not intention. And right now your habits are exposed. If your routine is weak, this situation magnifies it. If your mindset is unstable, this situation reveals it. If your life lacks direction, this situation makes it obvious. So instead of ignoring that, you confront it head-on. You start building structure into your days. You wake up with purpose. You train your body. You sharpen your mind. You push yourself into discomfort on your terms instead of being dragged into it by circumstances. Because when you choose your challenges, you gain control over your development. And that control is what builds confidence, not empty words. not external validation, but real evidence that you are improving, that you are progressing, that you are becoming someone who operates at a higher level than before. And this is where most people get it wrong. They say they are working on themselves, but their actions do not reflect it. They go to the gym for a week, then stop. They set goals, then ignore them. They talk about change, but stay in the same patterns, and that inconsistency keeps them stuck. So you do the opposite. You become consistent to the point where your actions no longer depend on how you feel in the moment. You train even when you do not want to. You work even when your mind is distracted. You stay disciplined even when no one is watching. And over time, this builds something solid, something that cannot be taken away by someone else's decision. Because your progress is yours, your growth is yours, your standards are yours, and no one can remove that from you. And here is the part that most people avoid thinking about. She left because she saw something missing, whether it was in you, in the dynamic, or in her own perspective. But instead of getting defensive about that, you use it as feedback, not emotional feedback, but practical feedback. You look at your life objectively. Where are you lacking? Where are you complacent? Where are you not pushing yourself? And you address those areas without ego, without excuses, because improvement requires honesty, and honesty requires you to stop protecting your current state and start challenging it. And this is where real transformation happens, not in small changes, but in complete shifts in how you operate, how you think, how you carry yourself. Because as you build yourself up, your priorities change, your standards rise, your tolerance for low effort drops, and suddenly you are no longer interested in situations that once consumed you. You are no longer chasing attention. You are no longer waiting for someone to choose you, because you are too focused on what you are building to waste time on what is no longer there. And this shift is noticeable, not because you announce it, but because your behavior reflects it. Your presence changes, your energy changes, your decisions change, and people pick up on that, including her, because now you are not the same person she walked away from. You are not easily accessible. You are not emotionally reactive. You are not centered around her anymore. You are moving forward with or without her. And that is what creates real leverage, not playing games, but genuinely becoming someone who has options, someone who has direction, someone who is not dependent on one person for meaning, and whether she notices or not becomes irrelevant, because the goal is not to prove something to her. The goal is to build something for yourself, something that continues to grow regardless of who stays or leaves. And once you reach that point, you realize that this situation was not something that set you back. It was something that forced you to step up, to take responsibility, to build discipline, to create a life that does not revolve around one person. And that is the level where everything changes, because you are no longer reacting to what happened. You are using it as fuel to become something greater, something more stable, more focused, more in control. And that is what ultimately transforms not just this situation, but your entire life moving forward. Number 5. Let her come to you. She will reach out when she senses you are no longer available. And that is the moment most people lose everything they have rebuilt, because they mistake her message for genuine intent instead of seeing it for what it often is: a test to see if she still has access, a check to confirm that you are still within reach. And if you respond the same way you used to, quickly, eagerly, with zero restraint, you reset the entire dynamic back to where it was. You place her back in control. You show her that nothing has changed, that despite all the silence, all the distance, all the time that has passed, you are still the same person waiting for her attention. And that is exactly why she left in the first place. Because when a woman knows she can come and go as she pleases without consequence, she does not respect the connection. She treats it as optional, something she can return to whenever it suits her. And you have to understand that clearly, because if you do not, you will keep repeating the same cycle. She leaves, you chase, she returns. You open the door instantly, she loses interest again, and the pattern continues, draining your time, your focus, your energy, while giving you nothing stable in return. So when she comes back, your approach must be completely different, not emotional, not reactive, not driven by the past, but grounded, controlled, and intentional, because now the situation is not about getting her back. It is about evaluating whether she even deserves a place in your life again. And that shift in mindset is everything, because instead of seeing her message as an opportunity, you see it as a moment of assessment. You look at her actions, not her words. You observe whether she is actually investing or just sending something minimal to test the waters, because real interest is clear. It does not hide behind vague messages. It does not rely on you to carry the conversation. It shows effort, consistency, and direction. And if that is not present, then nothing has changed, and allowing her back in without change only guarantees the same outcome. So you hold your position. You do not rush. You do not over-engage. You do not give more than what is being given. You match energy. You stay measured. And most importantly, you remain detached from the outcome, because the moment you become invested too quickly, you lose your clarity. You start ignoring red flags. You start justifying behavior that you would not accept if you were thinking clearly, and that is how people fall back into situations that waste their time. So you stay disciplined, you keep your standards high. You do not compromise them just because she returned. Because her coming back does not erase the fact that she left. It does not erase the way she handled the situation. It does not automatically qualify her for another chance. And that is the part most people avoid acknowledging. They are so focused on having her back that they forget to ask whether she meets the standard required to be in their life. And that is where you separate yourself, because you understand that access to you is not automatic. It is earned. And once you operate from that level, you change the entire dynamic, because now she is the one who has to prove something. She is the one who has to show consistency. She is the one who has to invest. And if she does not, then you walk away without hesitation, without second guessing, without trying to fix something that is not aligned with your standards. And that level of decisiveness is rare, because most people hesitate. They stay in situations longer than they should. They ignore what is obvious because they are afraid of losing something that is already unstable. But when you operate with clarity, you do not cling to what is uncertain. You move toward what is solid, what is consistent, what aligns with your direction, and that is where your power is, not in making her come back, but in deciding what happens if she does. Because by the time she reaches out, you are no longer the same person. You are no longer seeking validation. You are no longer waiting for her approval. You are no longer building your life around her presence. You have created something for yourself that stands on its own, and that means you can walk away at any moment without losing yourself. And that is the ultimate position to be in, because whether she stays or leaves again does not affect your direction. Your standards remain intact. Your focus remains on your growth. Your life continues to move forward, and that is what makes you different. Not because you ignore her or play games, but because you genuinely do not need her to maintain your sense of self. You choose, you decide, you act with intention, and once you reach that point, you are no longer controlled by situations like this. You are no longer pulled into cycles that drain you. You are operating at a level where your time, your attention, and your presence are given only where they are respected and reciprocated. And that is what transforms everything. Because you stop being someone who waits and become someone who leads his own life, regardless of who comes or goes. Most people stay stuck because they are trained to chase, to beg, to lower themselves, and no one tells them the truth until it's too late, and years are gone with nothing to show for it. You've just seen what happens when you take control, and the Stoic Relationship Blueprint ebook for men goes deeper, giving you timeless principles you can apply immediately to rebuild your mindset, your standards, and your entire life from the ground up. It's now available in audiobook, so instead of wasting time overthinking, you can listen while walking, training, moving forward, turning pain into discipline in real time, and it's yours permanently, so you always have access to this knowledge when you need it most. Society does not benefit from men who think clearly, who stand firm, who cannot be manipulated, and that's exactly why this information is never pushed to you. If you're ready to break that cycle, comment, "I take control," like this video, subscribe to help other men wake up before they waste years, and grab the ebook linked in the comments now.